I feel like I'm going on vacation because I am going on vacation. We're going to Prague tomorrow, so shows may be on hiatus for a few days. Let's see, I kind of want to say Prague right now. Artist Journal, October 29th, 2022, Berlin. Maybe Prague next time. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. And when I see this work, I think of my mom, who's probably watching, so hi Mom again. I just think of that old printed paper. This is a great new piece by Bite by Bit, a new series, and I'm loving it. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking of our Wasteman Goldminovich. I'm loving it with those sausage McMuffins. Anyways, I am loving the Bite by Bit pixel words created by 1989 Banner Mania. So I guess Banner Mania is a software. So very cool. One of one. Sold for 15. Oh, so that person, pretty good. That's a pretty nice piece. This is another one. Thank you. So just super cool. I wonder how hard these are to make. This is a work in progress. I would love to see. Do you just type in thank you and this is what you get and you press record? I don't know. But very cool. And this is a huge edition of 10,000. It is being sent out. So, and then, yeah, maybe you have to burn it. I don't know what's going on. So anyways, edition of 10,000, Banner Mania lover. A quick shout out. So thank you to Kika Nikolela, I think an AI artist. I just saw a work in my notifications actually, picking up Security of Europe, an edition of the Secret History of World War III. Thank you for the offer. Offer accepted. A mere 3 Tezos. And also, big secondary sale here from Albin, who made a few purchases, 30 Tezos for this work here from the Space Odyssey series, which I'm loving doing. I'm going to continue to release those as well. One of one. I love the one of ones. Now you have to pay 2,000, so thank you for that. And Albin also picking up Desert, one of our favorites here, and also a 808 from the Typed Art series. So thank you, Albin, for picking up a few works. Big shout out to you. And also, Paul Sims weighed in. Cosmo de Medici, who bought the super rare piece, is Snoop Dogg. Seriously. So I have heard that too. And since you bring up Cosmo, I did want to bring up this tweet. First of all, shout out to Cosmo, who spends millions of dollars on NFT and digital art. So before I say anything, just a shout out to that. I did take a little bit of, I think the word is umbrage on this tweet though, from, when is this, August. I dug it up. They were doing the Medici logo contest, and once they had their winner, this was the announcement. For over 700 years, the Medici have sought out the world's finest artists. This was my issue here. We, as if he's the Medici here, were honored that over 1,100 submitted a Medici logo. Choosing from these greats was painfully tough, but in the end, one must triumph. And then you even look at the logo. It kind of to me, it starts to cross the line a little bit, and this isn't a big deal, okay? But it starts to cross the line a bit from appropriation to misrepresentation in my universe. So I kind of took a little bit of umbrage, I think is the word, with that. And just to the point of, if you're in Times Square and you're seeing this logo, even me, who is neck deep in NFTs and neck deep in the tradition to a certain degree, been to the Vatican several times, etc., I would look at that and think that's the real Medici, okay? And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Snoop Dogg or Cosmo actually is affiliated with the Medici. So, in my universe, he starts to cross a line right here with the "we were honored," and it's like he's pretending to be the Medici, and at that point, again, it goes from appropriation to misrepresentation, and maybe and at the end of the day, who cares? But this is the problem. It turns into miseducation, because then the guy on the street who might not have all the art education in the world, if I'm starting to go, oh, is that the real Medici? the guy on the street who might not have a lot of art education starts to think that Cosimo de' Medici is like the Medici and all that. So that's my only reservation with that. I think this should say the Cosimo de' Medici collection, and that's what it is, not the Medici collection. My editorial for today. Continuing on, Dan Control, another little victory for him here. He is on the front page of Foundation. My collection is on front page. I can't be so happy. Thanks, Foundation. So that is totally awesome. Another artist we cover here on the front page of a major site, NFT site. Also, media news. I think Padrino and maybe Purple Drank are starting a podcast here. Joe Rogan's dad might be one of the smartest, coolest, most chill MFers on the planet. Oh yeah, he also makes dope art. Purple Drank and I just got done talking to the legend growing behind the balaclava. Stay tuned. So I guess there's going to be more media out there, so stay tuned for that. Purple Drank has been a big supporter of this show too, but Padrino as well, and also buying some of my art, and Joe Rogan's dad as well. So it's all in the family here, so go check that out, or keep tabs on that. I retweeted that. So yeah, just keep your attention paid for that. As Joe Rogan's dad said, it was really a pleasure. I can't wait to see it, as we all do, so that's totally awesome. So I thought we knew that Red Rum was on Super Rare, but maybe I'm thinking of 0009. So anyways, Red Rum, now Super Red Rum, is officially on Super Rare. So congratulations over there. That should be interesting to watch. Get this, strange thing. He's going viral, like in the mainstream. Like Hypebeast seems pretty mainstream. He's on the front of Complex, which is pretty mainstream. So he's making the rounds now. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. So on the front of Hypebeast, which sounds like a viral type publication, doesn't it? And look at this. This is just this morning I saw the Sneaker Freaker mag. Digital artist Strange Thing has used artificial intelligence to create the Wrong Era collection, juxtaposing Nike sneakers and tracksuits against a Renaissance era backdrop. See more on our site. So yeah, so congratulations to Strange Thing. Again, they're all head-turning works, and we were discussing that, I guess, 2 months ago. So that's great. It's just great to see, and it shows that there's a bit of a delay here between. So if your work doesn't get all the attention you hope it does, look at how long it took for Strange Thing and these very head-turning works to get into the mainstream there. So anyways, just really interesting. That'll be fun to watch. Hopefully it just continues to explode. Get this, Rat Cloak putting out some work in progress. A few things I want to point out here. A few clues. First of all, look at the Photoshop icon here. So you can see him with his brush. So it looks like he is using Photoshop. And if you go down here, you can see, and we saw it in an earlier GIF that he posted, that he was using a small Wacom tablet. So look at the speed that he's working with here. He's not slaving over every tiny little detail. He is working nice and fast here, but controlled. So anyways, fascinating to see that work that we're looking at being constructed. I love the work in progress pieces. They're very helpful. Also on the kind of digital painting front, a new artist, Grigala, who kind of fit into this, what I'd call neo-expressionist, as we're categorizing Basquiat. Basquiat gets categorized as that, and we're just sort of cluing in on that. And so again, it's tempting to call this neo-expressionist, isn't it, for lack of a better term, and just some abstract works. So Grigala is creating one piece of art every day, and there will be 1,825, so it's going to be for 5 years with his own contract. On Foundation, there will be one art every month, 56 pieces total in 5 years. So here is a work from him on Foundation. So just kind of cool, because here it's almost reminds me of Yuri J, right? Remember Fast and Furious, how he was working really fast? I think that's what we could deduce from that title. So anyways, it's interesting working fast. And one of the things that Warhol liked about Basquiat is he's like, I'm envious at how fast he is. Speed, which we haven't really talked about, is almost a quality, we could say, of contemporary and modern art. Almost the more modern it gets, the faster it gets, which is why when we talk about AI art and it coming out fast, I still have Warhol, like that kind of creates skepticism because you go, oh, if it was made so fast, is this any good? But I also have Warhol at the back of my head saying, you know, like, and look at how fast Warhol worked. And so speed was a feature, not a bug in a sense. And so anyways, so Grigala is working pretty fast here. He's making one a day. And it looks like he's experimenting here, as you would, right? You're not just going to stick to your one thing. And look at the sales, actually, is something I want to point out here. 0.1, 0.2, 0.25, 0.2, 0.25. So doing quite well. And so anyways, just an artist to take note of, George, grigala.eth. And we were looking, I had some stained glass. I wonder if I have that artist here. Let me just see here. There is some stained glass artist that I wanted to show you. Let's see if we can find, oh, we found it. On the fly here, Chago. So Chago kind of does like a take on stained glass. And again, that was just kind of caught my eye here. Kind of interesting, right? And so weird kind of representation. The phases of the moon are here. So just something kind of original, I thought. Sold for 0.33 ETH. And here you can see some of the other ones. So just kind of an interesting artist, Chago. And what I was going to mention here, I was bringing up Sainte-Chapelle in Paris. If you're in Paris, look at this. I hope this is a big image. Let me just see here. Yeah, there is I guess you'd call it a cathedral, a chapel, because this is all it is. I think it's a chapel, Sainte-Chapelle. Or I don't know what it is, because maybe Chapelle is the name of the person. Whatever it is, there is nothing like this. It's pretty close to Notre Dame. If you ever go to Paris, go check this out. Beautiful. Like there's nothing like this room in the world. Look at how small the area is here. Like a person would be like this big. So this is massive and it's all stained glass. So a little bit of history here of Sainte-Chapelle and a Gothic cathedral. And I'm kind of one of the trips I want to do is to go through Paris, maybe Germany. I don't know if there's Gothic, but different kinds. I want to go through France and visit all the little cathedrals. There's a course on the Great Courses, now called Wondrium, which used to be the teaching company, on the chapels of Europe or the cathedrals of Europe. And I'd love to just do a trip where you go from cathedral, these beautiful small French towns, maybe next summer or something. I have to talk to my girlfriend about that. But first, Prague, Dan Control. To me, this is an evolving situation here. This may look like just another Dan Control, but I actually find these are getting I love all of them, but they're getting better and better. I love the landscape here, just one line. And I'll tell you what I really like is the flat color here. And that contrasts particularly with like the, washing machine or dish detergent or the laundry detergent here with the intense gradient of the laundry detergent really contrasting well with the flatness of the background. So I thought just a really stunning work. As clean as possible, laundry detergent. I think it's already sold out. Yeah, you have to buy on secondary for 3 Tezos. A very nice work. And I think we have another one. This landscape, which I've been seeing for a few days on my Twitter feed here, 5 hours remaining. So I think this sold. Let me just check. Actually, let me kill this and go back here. And then, yeah, so this sold for 0.1 ETH. I actually think this is like Dan's, outrageous use of the gradient tool here. I think it really challenges us aesthetically. So I just think it's like conceptually, this is a very interesting work because why is it interesting conceptually? He takes the gradient tool, kind of zero apologies, and how good can I make a landscape with the gradient tool by itself? And the gradient tool is a very challenging tool to make look good and all that sort of thing. So I just find this to be a very conceptually as well as aesthetically challenging work. 0.1 ETH. And it kind of brings up a topic that I think I was bringing up in a Joe Rogan's Twitter Spaces the other day that I've been kind of dancing around a little bit. But this idea of it's always good to challenge your aesthetics, your sense of what is beautiful. Always challenge yourself. Don't get locked into, okay, this is it. Because that's the equivalent of saying only the music I listened to in high school is any good, right? That's what happens. We naturally kind of put on the horse blinders. So it's important to just consciously always challenge your sense of aesthetics, okay? So says I. A new breakfast menu piece, I'm loving it, from Trez A. Rodanx, formerly known as Fax Machine and Waste Man, Goldminovich. Someone in the tweet that he posted saying thank you pointed out the painting, and I wasn't looking too close at the painting, but it's actually quite carefully and beautifully painted here. The guy was pointing out the cheese, and I was like, well, what about the cheese? These are quite beautiful digital paintings here. Like, I just kind of like the subject, and I just kind of looked quickly and was like, yeah, I like it. I'll give you 70 cents for it, But I like how it's the price almost that you'd pay for this. I mean, probably the real price would be like $2, but anyways, Sausage McMuffin. I'm thrilled to own the whole series. Like, I can just see a wall in my mind with that entire series, and I can't wait. Is there going to be hash browns? Like, I hope so. What about, I don't really want to spoil it. I'll just sit on the sidelines here and let's see what happens. Maybe that's the end of the series. New work by Uxine, Failed Messiah Now Employed. Mysterious title, Failed Messiah Now Employed. So almost like, see here, this is almost like a religious reference. You have a angel kind of sneaking behind with classic Uxine, just kind of a falling, for lack of a better term, kind of falling laser, flashing a light. And you see a guy with a computer head and an unhappy face, and then some of his beautiful kind of hand-done pixel work. And then just this very carefully painted suit figure. So failed Messiah. Seems like a modern day Messiah has to go to the office and to his corporate job. That's what it looks like to me. Failed Messiah, now employed by Uxine. Buy for $30.50. Sold on primary for $15. Actually took a few hours to sell. So interesting, because I don't think Uxine has notifications, I think by design. So anyways, there are opportunities with Uxine's work. And also, I kind of remember applying to Super Rare. So support, let's give him a retweet on that. Give Uxine some support here, because he should definitely be on Super Rare. He's one of the funnest. Look at this. Like, to me, he's one of the funnest, most exciting artists in his palette, and he's just a great artist. So that's just a matter of time, in my opinion, Uxine. That is, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Continuing on, Puro May. I'm going to have to pick this work up. Let's see if we can get some volume here. I love this genre. So many of us can relate to this. So anyway, we'll see if a beat comes in. So much of, just a really cool work. I really like this piece. Like, so many of us can relate to this. I mean, I spent so many hours. That looks like Ableton, like I recognize the software, and just that speaker setup. I'm a huge fan. I'd love to you could do rooms and rooms of works that kind of celebrate this, from Adelia to some fantastic NFT artists who I actually haven't even featured on this show yet. Producing Puro May. Still available for 3 Tezos. So this is interesting. So Haiti Rocket, a one of one. I think these look so unbelievably collectible. Minted on Teia, okay? And actually, so this is called Pimps. And let me just show you what happened here. So he minted at 1103, listed at 1105. Again, on Teia. He's done with Object, as far as I understand. And listed and burnt 12. So he listed it for 10, canceled the listing after like 5 or 10 minutes. Nobody bought. And then now it's a one of one. But I just find these so collectible. If you had a Haiti Rocket one of one Nintendo glitch work, that's just super cool. The colors are great in this too. So very interested to see if he kind of goes in kind of like a one of one direction there. Very curious. Cap'n working on something that's beautiful. A lot of people were pointing that out here. Let's see what he does with it. I don't think this has been minted yet. There's no animation on here. I kind of hope there is an animation, but let's see what happens. Whatever the case is, very cool and a great title. I Met You in the Past. Almost has an alien feel to it, doesn't it? Continuing on, Holiday Swing by Slave Angel. So as we go down kind of a more pixelated route here, this has a bit of a Halloween feeling with the pumpkin here. And a guy with a computer head on a swing, a skeleton. So kind of a fun Halloween work. But Holiday Swing, a bunch of holiday activities add to the fuss in his head. Buy for 3 Tezos and 31 Tezos cents. So Popple showing how Pixel-Langton was made. I hear you like seeing things, Pocobelli. Indeed. So yeah, I love the works in progress, guys. So let's see what's going on here as we check out how Popple builds his works, and he builds them from scratch. That's pretty cool. How the shading went on there. I wonder what tools he's using. So you see the full process here. So pretty cool. We retweeted that one. So anyways, huge fan of Popple's work. Pixel drawing and code-generated dots for background and sci-fi world building, writing, science poster design, a couple of years studying aquatic planktons. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So curious to see where that goes, that whole series. A new work by Loakme, who's kind of an OG a little bit on the Tezos blockchain. You've probably seen some of the, I think it's a streaming water work that's really famous by him, or I don't know, famous on Tezos. So he has a new work, Collect for 50, edition of 10. So that's probably why it's more expensive. A lot of these kind of original artists. Hopefully I don't kill this mic here. Yeah, I don't see the work. I'm going to move on here, but you can see some of Loakme's work. You see why people kind of moved from Han and Taya, though, because they need to fix that loading problem. It can be a little much. Planet Pixel, we have new nebulas by Byte by Bit. So moving on, a one of one. So I can't buy them all. So this is still out there. 1988 PC Paint 3.1, and also Cleopatra's Eye Planetary Nebula. So I love these works, as you know. I show them every time they are posted. Continuing on, and another work by Michael Micasso. This looks like the finished work. So again, I also like how he added what looks like what do you call those mythological things in the sky? The constellation here. So this would work very nice on its own. And again, his work really screams screen printing to me. I think there's a whole business there, and a lucrative one at that. Paper Crane is working on an FX hash series with Rich Poole. So this also looked pretty interesting. I'm not a huge FX hash person because I feel like I got to pick my battles, but I'd like to do an FX hash at some point too. I mean, someone was pointing out, I don't know if it was Joe Rogan's dad or someone else, but Die With the Most Likes, when he put out those 2 FX hash series, it really helped get him to the next level. And then Super Rare. And so FX hash is a good idea because there are people that just love to collect, I guess you'd call that generative art. Has a bit of a MC Escher feel to it, doesn't it? So if they can make a generative art series out of that, that'd be pretty cool. Turkarak, who does these edgy drawings, this looks like a woodcut. And if it's like, you could actually, or again, this is crying out for screen printing. Because this is the sort of thing, gloomy, dull as dishwater. This looks like it was made digitally, but it looks like a woodcut. And maybe actually the way to render this is actually not a woodcut, although you could, but as a screen print. I mean, you put it on black paper. You know, again, so I totally encourage this multimedia because, again, People who are outside of the digital art scene, all they're going to see is this person has a lot of depth and range. Like I remember one guy who looked at my work a few years ago when it was at Factory Berlin. I did a little show at the workspace there. Actually, I did 2 shows there. And my friend, Paul maybe was his name. He worked as just a kind of desk guy at a prominent kind of contemporary art gallery. And he's like, I like to show what you could use is like a sculpture or something. Because just as almost like for PR, like it'll just make it look like you have more depth. You should make a sculpture. And I thought it was a great idea. Like I never thought of it that way. And it's the same thing here. If if you make a work like this, like learn how to screen print, guys. Learn how to screen print, guys and gals. Because look, it's just money, and it's people are gonna take you even more seriously. This isn't just some NFT guy. This guy has a lot of range, or this gal has a lot of depth. Turkarak with another cool work, Celebrity Beauty Secrets, 2 Tezos. See, like this, you can't do, when you have like movement, you can't do that as a screen print. But the other one is crying out for screen printing. Okay? So all very interesting. So anyways, new work, just interesting 2 Tezos, edition of 10. And I just thought this was interesting, fun work from Turkarak. Moving on to AI. And what I'm calling with this almost the rise of the collector artist. We've talked about the artist collector. Now, unknown collector for the culture. I'm sure some think, quote, now he tries to sell us cheap AI art to make money with his reach, end quote. Don't worry, 1.69 Tez won't bring me back 300 ETH that he's probably spent on art. I'm doing this to continue my journey of speaking up for every one of you, the foundation of the space, the artists. So I think what he's trying to say here is that he has a series, community builders, and I think this should be encouraged and applauded, and I think there's almost a stigma if you're some big collector and then can you put out art? So I'm calling it the rise of the collector artist. Because why not? Especially with AI. Like a lot of this stuff is word prompts. So why not is sort of what I say. As we break almost every taboo we can here, let collectors be artists too. If we're going to have artist collectors, can't we have collector artists? So just some food for thought here as I take my few-day break. Maybe I'll report from Prague. Could be fun. Could be very fun. I just want to do it for the intro so I can say Prague. Another work by our guy, Wasteman Goldminovich, Fax Machinovich, a.k.a. Treze Rodanks. Just a interesting AI work here. I think it's called Troll at Auction. I like his Renaissance AI work. Professional Troll. It's kind of mysterious here. Continuing on a kind of a different work from Javier Tomeo, and we've been following his work really closely because he definitely has his own kind of feel and kind of does beautiful work. What I kind of liked about this is it was starting to break convention a little bit with this red sky. So in a weird way, this was just a small step towards abstraction or of surrealism, of really just breaking rules and saying that's okay. This is acceptable. So I thought just an interesting work from Javier, A Sunny Day at the Lakeside. Interesting. Now this looks like, so another conversation piece here. What does this look like to you? I'll tell you what it looks like to me is this looks like AI artwork, right? Wrong. This is acrylic on canvas by Barlov. So I have a theory that this was begun, and we've mentioned this before, as a possible technique. I would guess, if I had to guess, and I have no information, this could be totally wrong. I would guess this was made in AI and then made as an acrylic painting, and that was used as a reference for an acrylic painting. That is my theory on this piece. And I think I think we're going to see that more and more. So AI is going to get more and more kind of incorporated. And we're probably eventually in a few years here, maybe a few months, we're not even going to call it like AI. It's just going to be like, you don't say this was made with a paintbrush, generally speaking. And maybe it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to be assumed, yeah, there could be some AI in here. That's my guess, because it's a pretty good looking painting, isn't it? who is this artist? You know, it looks like a famous modernist. A little tech before we go here. A little pre-launch spoiler, owners of LCD1 can stream the display data through the serial port. So as you can see here, you can find it here at this crazy name, Andreas Geissen, at Andreas Geissen. But look at this. This tiny screen here is being mirrored. And I just thought this was kind of interesting. We'll see it kind of repeat at the start here. You see this little tiny thing. So in a sense, I don't know what the deal is here. They're plugging it in and the screens are mirroring each other, right? But just kind of interesting. So, we try and be hip on all fronts here. Try and make my artist journal as hip as possible. Anyways, with that, thank you for watching this week's episode. Until next time, whenever that is, take care, my friends. Take care.